This is my last video. Okay, good one. No, but really, I'm being serious. This is... Shut up! This is the end of an era. I should probably give some background and context here so it all makes sense. Ever since quarantine started, I had one session of school online, and since then, I've taken a gap year because online tuition is very awesome. And from that opportunity, I decided I wanted to buckle down and really get better at making videos. I wanted to make good stuff for you all, and so I spent my days and nights pretty much for the past 2 years in Adobe Premiere, relearning the ropes and all the nifty tricks I could use to make things look better and sound cleaner. And if I'm not in Premiere, then I'm probably in Google Docs, brainstorming drafts of scripts and filling them out and trimming them down and sometimes deleting it all and starting from scratch over and over again. I've probably made more second drafts in the past 2 years of video commentaries than all of my school essays combined, but that's just the way the Kringus crumbles sometimes. You can't control that. Instead of studying trigonometry, I studied editing, and I watched videos as homework to learn about how different creators use pacing and music, narratives, and commentary, and I try to incorporate that into making something that still felt essential to me and my creative process, but was also branching out into different styles, and I think I did a good job of that. I'm still not very great at editing, I would say, but I've sure learned a lot, especially about audio. Oh my god, that is a big old pain in the butt cube, but from that, I've been able to make those bigger projects, so it's definitely all worth it. The Secret to Improving, the Great Sword Montage, Reno Super Guide, Why I Quit Competitive, and of course the 1v7 Chosen Bots, I think are the biggest ones to me. And that's what's coming to an end. I'm going to college now, and I know I can't make those anymore. I just don't have the time. In order for me to do so, videos pretty much have to be my life, more than my full-time job, and that's not the case with school in the mix. And I'll still try. If I make videos, it'll be one-off commentaries or quick edits if a new legend comes out, but certainly not the longer projects that take weeks or even months, a full year to plan out and execute on. It's quite bittersweet, I'm not gonna lie, but part of existing is ending. That's the natural course of things, and part of life is learning how to handle these transition points. It's not easy saying goodbye to something you know and hello to something completely new, but everyone's got to do it at some point with various different things in their life, and this is just mine with videos. It's been a stressful, awful couple of years, but in between that, it's been damn fun too. Pockets of it, and I appreciate you guys watching. To be honest, I still don't quite get why, but I'm grateful every day nonetheless. Just thinking about what I'm able to do, I can't help but smile. Just a little bit though. My real passion lies in antique train collecting. Yeah. I mentioned this back in the post-Chosen Bots commentary already, but this is as good a time as any to mark the end of what we can call Egg Soup Season 1, so let's look back a little bit at what that Season 1 entailed. Over quarantine, I recorded and edited over 300 videos. I look back, I could not believe that, because it was almost entirely on my own in this makeshift office that was turned into a temporary living space, and some of them took just a couple hours, you know, but some of them took multiple months, and they ranged in variety from just simple one-off commentaries to the highly produced analytical presentations, the coaching and educational segments. I really enjoyed those, and of course the introspective personal stuff that seemed to resonate with the most people. I want to give out a few shoutouts if I would. Number one is to Xed, who helped cut down a bunch of the stream highlights. Some of your guys' favorite videos on the channel have been possible because of Xed's help. So if you see edited by Xed in the description, it means he helped with cutting up footage or visuals, sometimes the effects and the zooms as well. We worked really hard together trying to make those good with the abilities we had at the time, and I think it's safe to say that both of us really improved in the process, and that just wouldn't have happened if he didn't reach out. So thank you, Xed. Everyone say thank you, Xed. Wahoo! Number two, I'd like to thank all the friends who recorded with me. Making videos can be pretty lonely, a pretty lonely process. You might spend most of your time and most of your days editing in complete silence and complete solitude to get the thing done, and that's more time than you would ever spend recording the thing itself. So to have friends in the same boat is really awesome, and makes you feel a little less like you've got to figure everything out on your own. You guys know who you are. Thank you. And shout out number three, exciting, it's to you, the audience. Whether you watched one, all, or something in between, you've helped me live my dream for the past 1.5 years and made this hellscape time capsule a little brighter. I know I worked incredibly hard and some part of me should probably feel like I deserve it, but without you supporting and watching, it would be impossible, literally, for me to transform this fun hobby into a potential career. So thank you again for watching my videos. I know I've talked a lot about parasocial stuff in the past, in big part because I've received some of the nasty end of it, but I hope that doesn't get misconstrued as being ungrateful, because the position I'm in is extremely surreal, and I know it's only possible because of the willingness of strangers to give something a chance. And you've probably heard it from a billion other creators, but it's true. I think they all probably mean it, and I do too. Something that I always try to remember, and I hope people watching remember this too, is that my words don't have any more value than others just because there's a platform. People message me all the time saying that I'm an inspiration and that they want to be like me, and it's always kind of odd because I don't feel any different. I feel like I'm the exact same as you. I'm not special at all. I just got really lucky to have people watch what I make and listen to what I have to say. Okay, well, debatably listen to what I have to say, and I hope that that luck doesn't run out by the time I can make this into a real long-term job, because creating videos is what I love to do, and I'm so grateful I was able to do it at the capacity I could up to this point. Recently, a lot of people have been asking, I think because of the new year and because of the Q&A, which I'm almost done with by the way, about my future plans, what I'm doing next year and in 3 years and 10 years, and the honest answer is that I don't even have a semblance of an idea. I think part of me might be a little bit scared to commit to any kind of blueprint because things can always go wrong and they can take an unexpected turn. That's probably the anxiety talking, but another part of me, which I think is more healthy, is trying to take things one day at a time. As stereotypical as that sounds, you go with the flow and not be held down to these self-imposed rules that I need to have this done by this age and that done by that age. I need to be graduated by the time I'm 22, or I need to make this much money by the time I'm 25 so then I can retire at 65. Things like that are pretty much tied to an unknown nebulous future, but then you set your whole life around them, and if you don't make steps in that direction, then you're just a failure. And I've kind of always lived like that, always in a fast forward and always doing stuff now because of how I want the future to look. That's another thing I've explored in a bunch of commentaries already, but I don't know what it's like to not live like that, so I want to give it a try. And an analogy that someone explained to me is like I've got a level 50 Charizard, which is the Grussel Shrigma grind set, and it's been so ingrained into me, and it works because it was my starter, so of course it's got the most experience and is the most effective. And then I've also got in my party a level 2 Magikarp, which is being present and accepting my fears instead of doing everything in my power to avoid confronting them and letting in emotion, however uncomfortable it makes me feel in the moment. And I've got barely any experience in this little boy. It can't even get me through a battle because all it knows is splash. But with some hard work and swap training around, I can eventually build it up to level 20, and then it'll click bing bang boom, there's a Gyarados. Now I have a new skill set to use, a new group of typings I can cover, and there will be times when Charizard is necessary. You gotta buckle down and get the work done, because being present right now, it won't help you. You gotta sacrifice time now to do stuff for the future. Sometimes you gotta do that, and then other times Gyarados is necessary. I don't want to keep living in a way where I'm using fire to treat every problem, because even if that works, I get a little burned every time. These past couple years have been such walking paradoxes. Paradoxi? It's been so weird. It feels like I've been stuck here for an eternity, but then also it's just been 2 weeks. And then also I've been frozen and stagnant and unchanging, but then I've changed so much. It's been very strange. And the reason why I bring that up is because it doesn't really feel like a new year. And I know people are going to ask about my New Year's resolutions, given that this is kind of a New Year's video. And I guess I don't really have any. I never really do, at least on the day itself. I constantly make resolutions, I guess you could call them, and goals throughout the year, and they serve as good motivators, but doing it on New Year's Day itself as a marker starting point doesn't really work as well for me as just spontaneously jotting it down the moment it pops into my mind and then instantly starting it the moment I can, because that's just sort of how I am for everything, because if I don't do that, I'm going to forget. So that works better for some people, and having distinct, tangible markers to start works better for others, and different strokes for different strombles, I guess. But one thing I am focusing on is improving my health. I've slept horribly for the past 4 years. I have notes on the date of my last good night of sleep because it's so rare. Off the top of my head, I think it's like November 22nd, 2020, and before that was a stretch of months as well. So that's priority number 1. It would be great to have more than 1 good night of sleep per year. It's pretty funny, actually. I always see someone mention that I sound super tired or low energy in my videos. Sometimes they're even like, are you doing okay? Are you sad? Because you seem like you're always tired in your videos. I'm like, no, it's not that I'm sad. It's not that I'm tired in my videos. I'm just tired all the time. So if you take like a 20-minute segment of my day, you parse it together, piece it at any point in time, odds are pretty high that I'm gonna sound completely exhausted. But another thing that I've been working on really hard, actively, again, not starting just on the new year, is that I want to eat better. And I've been learning how to cook over quarantine. I learned how to cook properly, and that's been really awesome. It's made me really happy because I pretty much only eat home-cooked food. I rarely ever get takeout, and never fast food in my entire life because I have constant stomach issues. And also it's way cheaper, so that's a big bonus. There's this stretch of time where I was fully self-sustaining. I was buying my own food with my own money. I was paying rent. I was preparing it all myself, and I felt like an actual human. And then I recorded videos over a 2D Flash game until 5 in the morning and remembered where I belonged. Never forget your roots. Through school, I'm also going to be actively exercising and playing sports. I've really missed that, so that's really great. And of course, maybe the most important thing is mental health. And if you've been watching for any point in time, any of the more serious commentaries you probably know has been a bit of an upsy-downsy, a bit of a topsy-turvy curve cycle. And I've worked so hard to get to the point I am today. Oh my god, I've still got such a long way to go. But I know I'm not alone, and that's pretty cool. I've had some people help me along the way, and I'm working to have a better understanding of what's going on up here. I should not hit myself in the brain. That's not a good idea. Then again, I probably already have brain rot anyway, so I don't know how much damage that's doing, but my doctor told me I have an 8-year anxiety disorder. I don't know about that one. Or it could be a bunch of stress-inducing and fatiguing behaviors to manage unnoticed and undiagnosed ADHD. I don't know that either, but we're figuring it out with help. It's a little bit of a struggle for sure, but nobody's gonna experience my head day to day but me. So I've got to be the one to chip away at it, or be vulnerable enough to explore it deeper. I guess find ways to adapt and incorporate it more healthily into my life, my wife. But step one of all that, I think, is understanding. Because without that, then how do you even know what you're supposed to adapt to? Is it your childhood bullied or the crispy macaroon? Sorry. I do strongly recommend everyone try and introspect with things like that, whether by yourself or with someone else. If you don't feel safe doing it alone, that's totally understandable. I think it's really invaluable to discover a part of yourself that by design is entirely invisible, and uncovering the long-held emotions that can drive much of your current day behavior and heavily influence your perception of what's happening around you, the events surrounding you. I think that's really important because your body wants to act on autopilot. It's easier. And if something has worked well enough in the past, it's gonna keep doing it, even in areas that don't make sense. That kind of self-checking helps us understand why we do the things we do, even when we don't want to do them, like procrastinate, for example, or why we can't start new projects or new relationships, why we want to be successful but can't bring ourselves to begin the first step, and why observing others around us can make us feel pathetic ourselves. There's an infinitely long list of examples where our logic that we think defines us does not match up with the actions we take, and that kind of disconnect can invoke a lot of shame, a lot of uncomfortable feelings that we try to block out. But life doesn't have to be that way, and we don't have to be driven by these intangible motors that are beyond the realm of our understanding. The simple question of why did I do that does have an answer. It could be as simple as my tummy growled so I ate a pizza, and it could be as deep as I don't want to face the failure that next Monday's exam might be bringing, because that might cascade into the crumbling of the image of the life I'm supposed to be living, and I'm staying up so late that the moment my head hits the pillow I pass out from exhaustion, and I don't have to think about all these thoughts that intrude my head, and the only way I've learned to properly calm myself down is to eat something yummy, on top of the fact that the longer I stay awake, the more my body craves energy, so I eat pizza. I let myself get carried away there. That happens sometimes, I'm sorry. It's just to illustrate a simple point, which is that our relationship with ordinary actions can be multi-layered and very context dependent. So something as basic as eating pizza can range from a midday snack to an avoidant coping mechanism. Yet without that proper insight, we see it as the same, and we blame ourselves for not having discipline and being weak and stupid. But we're not weak and stupid, we're strong and stupid. What? No. It's just unfair to mark ourselves with such binary declaration when there could be a lot at play that goes unseen. Anyway, long-winded way to say it's worth exploring the motivations behind what you do. Because along the way, you might find that you not only have more active control over the decisions you make, but that you're free from the mental shackles you didn't even realize you were pinning yourself down with. There's ups and downs, of course. I'm painting it very rosily, but if I look at myself 4 years ago and then I look at myself now, I would tell myself not to play Brawlhalla. No, it's pretty accurate, honestly. I'm so much more better in the head. Okay, maybe not. But it does depend on your situation. I should add that stipulation, because there's obviously examples where in order to keep trucking along, you can't even afford to think about stuff like this. You gotta use that level 50 Charizard, because the level 2 Magikarp ain't gonna help you get through that Elite 4 now, is it? Who am I talking to? Anyway, I always get so sidetracked when I talk about this stuff. I can't help it, okay? If we want to go even further, we can talk about why I felt it was so necessary to add that addendum stipulation to cover my bases, because I'm afraid of being misunderstood and people being hurt from my words and concern about being too open. I'll spare you today, you're safe. I'll try to keep creating when I can. Hopefully I'll make good enough stuff that people will be around next summer when I can dedicate time again to make big project. But until then, if I see you, I see you. If I don't, I don't. Thanks for watching my videos regardless. It means more than you know. Take care, everyone. I'll see you in the next one.